100 for 100, the podcast where I, Seed, the host, the creator of the Pop Riggin Network, take 100 films for all you new movie watchers out there that I think you must watch at least one time in your movie watching career. I ranked them from 100 to 1, from I'm not gonna say worst to best, but from 100, like, yo, you do yourself a favor, check this shit out, all the way up to, drop everything you're doing right now and watch this movie. And we're in and they're each accompanied by a 100-word review and a podcast, which is what you're listening to right now, is how you get the title for the show, 100 for 100. We are in the high 20s. We're high 20ing it up right now. Yesterday was number 27's To Kill a Mockingbird. 29's To Kill a Mockingbird. Today we're at 28. Today we are at 28 on the list, and number 28 is Apocalypse Now. Man. Oh, man. 1979, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. Of course, this will not be the last time you hear that name come up on this list. Let's get into this 100-word review, shall we? As far as war films go, few have conveyed the horrors and mental breaking of combat as well as Coppola's Apocalypse Now. Loosely adapting Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness, the film is a meandering look at the less glorious parts of the Vietnam War, as Captain Willard is tasked with removing the influence of Colonel Walter Kurtz, Marlon Brando. Apocalypse Now chooses less to glamorize war with bombastic battle scenes and rousing scores, and focus more on characters that change for better or worse. A movie that's best seen when watching the 202-minute-long Apocalypse Now Redux version. Boom. Look, man. I feel like the only way to watch this is to watch the Redux. Like, you got to be in for the long haul. That's going to put you, 3 hours, 22 minutes? If my math, my public math, everybody's afraid of public math. If my public math is correct, that's 3 hours, 22 minutes. And you just got to be in for the long haul on this one, man. It's one that as soon as the sun sets, you put this shit on, man, and it'll ride you out through the night. It is an amazing, visually, man. Apocalypse Now, I think, a lot of people talk about the story. They talk about Brando's performances. They talk about Michael Sheen, right? Yeah, his performance. But nobody talks about how beautiful this movie is. Like, Apocalypse Now looks amazing, especially when you have the scene where they're playing, was that Ride of the Valkyries, as I talked about, battle scenes and rousing scores. We got the rousing score in that scene when you got a helicopter blazing Ride of the Valkyries, or blaring it, I should say, but you don't actually get a whole lot of battle happening. Martin Sheen, there we go. Whew, Michael Sheen is that's the Good Omens dude, isn't it? Yeah. Just seeing a descent into madness, as some of those actors go. So basically, it's Martin Sheen is tasked with taking a team into this little town where Colonel Kurtz, Marlon Brando's character, has completely eschewed the war and set up shop and created his own little fiefdom, his own tiny little kingdom, which he is king and sits atop the mountain. And the U.S. has tried a couple times to take this dude out, to no avail. They know that there's a journalist who's been sent in to do a story. He got caught up and he went missing. Played by Dennis Hopper. So they send these dudes in, and one by one things happen. An ambush takes out a young Larry Fishburne. A couple of dudes just kind of cry off. One dude, once they finally get there, kind of he drinks the Kool-Aid as well. Rampant drug use. I mean, this movie does come out in the 70s. Rampant drug use, that's kind of what they did in Vietnam. But having this mission and having this thing to do is what keeps the sanity of Martin Sheen's character. I think you need to allow this movie to breathe. You really do. And it really gives you a look at each of the members that are along this journey for you. And the longer it takes to get there, the more anticipation you have for when Brando shows up. Of course, Brando showed up fucking 40 pounds overweight. So that is why he shot the way he is shot. They wanted an officer that was still a lean, mean fighting machine. but Brando showed up not that. And this is towards heavy Brando days. So he shot where you see a lot of his face, his body's in shadow a lot, or a lot of extra long shots. So he's a ways away from the lens to try to mask stuff like that. But when he's still Marlon damn Brando. So when he acts, he damn acts. And yeah, just there's nothing you can say about this movie that hasn't already been said. It's madness. This entire movie is just fucking insanity, as well as the filming of this movie. Just the fact that they didn't have permits to do half the shit they did in the filming. The documentary on the making of this film, which I do believe is called Heart of Darkness, is just as fascinating as the film itself. So check out number 28 on our list and the documentary associated with it, Apocalypse Now.